Hi! Welcome to another actual play manifest session, episode 11 here. We know we ended last week on a bit of a cliffhanger, so we'll jump into the recap really quick. But before we do, I know we have at least one announcement, which is if you haven't seen the Kickstarter update that we posted, we have some cool art that you can go look at on the Kickstarter page. You should do it. It's awesome. It's by Andrew Thompson, and he's amazing. He's the same guy who did our cover art that you may have seen during the Kickstarter campaign. But also, we announced that we've set our print date with our printers, and if all goes well, we are looking at a February ship date for the products, all the Kickstarter backer products. So get excited, get pumped. We just got a couple months left. But more details you can go check out on the Kickstarter page and see that amazing art. You don't want to miss it. It's cool. It's a couple of the Path art. So you can see like Path of the Gambler, Gunslinger, cool things. Do we have any other announcements, Addie?
Just that last week I, for like the second time in like 5 weeks, got food poisoning on a Friday. And so we did not do GM Styles. We will be making up that episode this week.
Yeah, GM Styles this Friday. It's happening. I'm not going to let Addie eat any suspect food. just rice and bread.
I mean, before you were like, it's probably fine.
About it. Yeah,
that gas station sandwich is going to be great.
Yeah, no. All right, cool. So let's do a quick recap of where we find our drifters today. Kinsey, Pax, and Roland have been working for the Dead Man's Gang against their will, as the Dead Man's Gang has been working to orchestrate kind of a hostage situation with Marshall and his ambassador mother. They're trying to find out where this lockbox is, and the only people who actually know where the lockbox is are Roland and Pax. They've been keeping that close to the chest. I don't think they still haven't told Kinsey yet either.
Sure haven't.
So the plan has been to sort of tear the Dead Man's Gang apart from the inside, and they managed to kill one. They killed Miguel Reyes, and then they found themselves in the town of Lily Ridge, which is a town owned by the Family, a crime syndicate planet-wide. This is specifically the Gatii family owns Lily Ridge, and the Dead Man's Gang is trying to steal some weapons from some smuggling tunnels in the underneath the Gatii estate. And Roland, Kinsey, and Pax, they approached the Gatii family and they made a deal saying like, hey, we'll lead the Dead Man's Gang into your tunnels, set a trap. We'll take them out. You have your people ready. We'll be ready, and we'll take out a chunk of the Dead Man's Gang. And that's part one of many parts of a plan to work with the Family to sort of extricate themselves from the situation in a marginally profitable way. Not like financially profitable, but so they made it into the tunnels at the end of the last session, and Kinsey had planted some jumping yucky, which is a plant on Manifest that once it has matured, its root system becomes incredibly sensitive, and if you step on it, it moves rapidly into its pollination phase, where it launches a giant stalk out of the ground and just like brutally murders anything that's on top of it, which serves for fertilizer for the seeds that drop. So Kinsey planted 4 of those in the tunnel of the Gatii smuggling, the Gatii smuggling tunnels, and as they were leading the Dead Man's Gang through, they have with them Cho Saxton, Matthew the Madman Turner, and Rosa Valantes. Kinsey stepped over the jumping yucky, and Rosa did not notice anything was amiss and stepped right onto a jumping yucky, got slammed into the ceiling, fell down, was still alive. They also have, of course I would miss her, she's very sneaky, There is Sierra Phillips also with them. And Sierra, who has been kind of suspicious of these three drifters all along, immediately noticed this as suspicious, knocked an arrow, pointed it at Kinsey, told Rosa to give her the order to kill him, and and just like, let's be done with this. Obviously, they set us up. Before Rosa had a chance to talk, Kinsey took another shot at Rosa, or took a shot at Rosa, pulled out his gun, shot Rosa, hit her in the shoulder. She stumbled off to the side, still alive, and then Cho let loose an arrow, and Kinsey took an injury instead of wounds. He kind of strained himself to avoid the arrow, and he is now exhausted, which is giving him a -1 to all of his tests. We ended the last session rolling initiative, and yeah, let's jump into this combat.
Make it happen.
Let's try out our new combat screen with music. Let us know in the chat if the music's too loud. We can adjust. It's our first time using it. Over there, is it all dramatic now?
You're all there. It's all dramatic now.
Nice. All right. So at the end of the last session, as we rolled initiative, Roland, you did spend 3 grit to cowboy up. 4 grit? 3 grit?
I wish it was 3 grit.
Yeah,
then I would have grit still.
Oh no, you don't have grit. Okay, well, so since you cowboyed up, even though your initiative score is still way lower than everyone else's, you get to go first. Yeah, you get to go first until you run out of initiative. So, what do? You got standing next to you in this tunnel that's about 4-person wide. You're on the side. You have Maddie the Madman, Cho Saxton, Pax, and Sierra Phillips, kind of clumped together. And then over the little line of Jumping Yucky, which there is a giant hole now where one of them was, there is Kinsey and Rosa. About 20 feet past them, there is a large metal door. And then behind you, about 5 feet, 10 feet behind you, there is an intersection where it leads to 2 other doors, and then a third inner tunnel branching off that intersection, which is the way you came into the smuggling tunnels. What do you do?
Sure. Okay. Okay, this is my plan. It's not good, but it might work. I'm going to slide up next to Cho and raise my rifle to cover a different intersection, back to back, acting as if we are allies and nothing is wrong. And I'm going to think directly at her and only at her, if it's possible to isolate that.
Yeah.
And just say, they're going to get us all killed if we don't get this under control. There's not time for a shootout down here.
Okay. Yeah, you can roll manipulate. We'll put you at a -3 because you have really spent a lot of time earning Cho's trust. So it's not not an impossible task, but still very hard. Okay. You are up against an 8.
Hey.
Cool. None of my 7s matter.
No! Oh no! Rough. Alright. So that's Roland's turn. He does a gambit.
I'm taking the XP for you push your luck despite a clear chance of failure.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially, don't forget, guys, if you trigger your XP triggers during this fight, that could get you grit in the middle of a fight. Okay, cool. So that's an XP for you, for everyone, because you absolutely are pushing your luck. But yeah, you do that. She only got one net success over you, so it's only a partial success on her part. We'll see how that plays out. So Rosa is next. And
no!
so Kinsey, you shot her. You've leapt to the side. Roland has kind of moved behind Cho, and Kinsey, as you're kind of assessing the situation and backing up, Rosa, who got hit, quickly springs back up off the ground, her instincts kicking in. She tried to dodge and failed to dodge, but as she did, she got her guns out. And so you hit her, she springs back up off the ground, and she is going to at least take one shot at you. We'll see if she takes both shots at you.
Probably should.
So yeah, I'm gonna need a dodge test from you.
Well, that's one success with a high of 8.
Okay, well, that does eliminate some of my successes. But you are going to take 16 damage, no armor piercing.
16.
Or you could take a second injury. It's up to you.
I think it's smart for me to take a second injury, so...
Alright, so that's another class 2 injury.
Last time wasn't so bad, just tired me out.
Now that this is your second injury, though, you do have to roll 2 d20s and take the highest result on that.
Sure.
I know we're on the same team, but 16 damage is a class 3 injury.
Oh, thank you. I forgot. It just breaks it over. It just makes it over. Yeah, because 15 is the threshold. Yep.
Unless your toughness drops it down below that.
What's your toughness?
1.
That's not enough.
No, sure is.
Class 3 injury. Hey, class 3
Oh my god!
No, which one is it?
I rolled a 2 and a 19.
Oh, so 19 is finesse and muscle, I think, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so the first shot hits you right in the chest, and you hear your ribs crack as your armor soaks the shot. But now your muscle and your finesse attributes are considered 1 lower. So when you're shooting, that might affect your dice pool, or it might just affect your reliability, depending on what your finesse is. All right. Her second shot is now going to come at you, Kinsey. Okay. Yeah. Oh, hey, you could maybe do it.
Right, sorry. I'm writing this down right now.
There's a chance, Kinsey.
I can hear that. But now my finesse is
That will affect your dodge pool too, yeah.
Just the reliability portion.
Okay. Well, that's...
Right, it is a misfire. But it's 2 successes with a high of 7.
Oh, all right. So you do still get hit, but that's only because it's a tie. All other 4 of my successes don't matter because 7 was my highest as well, and I rolled a bunch of 1s and 4s. So, all right. So that is 8 damage,
Sure.
no armor piercing.
No hits. Huh.
Yeah, that first shot like hits you in the ribs. You go flying back. The shot is louder than a handgun should be, and you see this flash of like kind of like wispy energy like kind of fly out of the barrel along with the normal like combustion muzzle flare, and her barrel like starts smoking this kind of like bluish color. As she takes a shot at you, it hits you in the chest. You go flying back. Your ribs crack, and then the second shot just hits you right in the same spot almost, digging deeper into your armor. You misfired, right?
I sure did.
Okay. So you're already full up on injuries. I can't just give you an injury. What we'll do is we'll say you are like you get hit both those times, both in the same spot, like lightning fast, like boom boom, like dead on into you. You get slammed back, and you lock eyes with Rosa, and she's like just already pulling back the hammers to like precision shooting, and you realize like this woman, she may not be a righteous gunslinger, but she's a capital G gunslinger. And you are outclassed and now terrified of her. So for your misfire, I will say your next test against her will be at a -2. And on top of everything else you might have.
Sure, right.
Whether it be dodging an attack from her or trying to attack her yourself, you are now like effectively shaken by her. Because you realize she's just like, she's got, she doesn't even look scared. You shot her, she flew up in the air, and she's just got this calm precision on her face. All right. Next up is Sierra. Sierra sees Kinsey get shot twice. And Pax, you're right next to her. And she is going to leap back, pulling an arrow out, and she's gonna launch it at you.
Okay. Are my weapons aren't out, right? So my mag core wouldn't matter.
You can you can have your weapons out. The fight started, right? That's fine. You rolled initiative. That's you reaching for your weapons.
Sure. Okay.
So you can have the benefits of your weapons. That's fine. You had them on you, and you knew that a fight was coming, and you rolled initiative. I think it's fine to assume that you can benefit from your weapons.
Okay. And then Magcore adds what now?
Each weapon you are wielding that has a mag core gives you a +1 to your defense tests.
Okay. Great.
So you are up against a 12.
Cool. She misses me with my 15.
Nice. So she immediately she had the bow. She shot one at Kinsey. Kinsey starts taking fire from Rosa, and she instinctively turns, leaps back, and shoots while she's jumping back. And her the arrow she shoots at you pops in midair, and a net flies out of it, and you just draw both your knives and just slice through the net, and it falls on either side of you.
Whoa! What the?
And Pax, it's your turn.
No.
I mean, you can hold your turn if you want. It's up to you. You can hold your turn.
I have really no indication as to what to do with my allies at this point. And I am a survivalist if nothing else. So I will throw a blinding projectile into the middle of the room.
Huh.
Well, oh yeah, so you can target, up to, I think, actually no, blinding projectiles you got to throw right in someone's face.
Oh really? Okay.
It's not a flashbang. It is a single target weapon. You do get a +1 to do it though, because you have to get just near their face.
But there are more than one people I want to hit.
Well,
Please, Blind Rosa,
you
please.
could throw 2.
Yeah. I don't really want to take aggressive action. Okay. So what Kinsey has done is a thing. So I will. Yeah, I'll just throw one up in Cho's, or not Cho's face, in Sierra's face,
Sure.
and be like, "What are you doing?" And like that, and then like, cause are they super loud? I don't want to make any more.
Dude, there's been gunshots. Like that's not a concern now.
Okay, great. Cool. I'm just gonna be like, what the hell are you doing? And then just like.
We should make as much noise as possible while still being alive.
I don't want to be the. It's part of the ruse. I'm trying to blend. Yeah, I will double blinding shot into Sierra's face. No, I will blinding shot. I will one blinding shot and then maybe do something.
Okay.
Okay. Like that.
You are up against a 12 again.
Me too. I have one, but it explodes.
Nah.
Wait, I have reliability. Okay. I have 2 12s.
Okay.
I have 2 12s.
Okay. So, yeah. What's the power of your weapon?
3.
All right. Yeah. You cut through the thing, and then you loop your finger through like a little pommel on the bottom of your dagger, so you can let it hang from your hand as you reach into your bandolier and toss out one of your blinding projectiles, and it pops right in her face, a bright flash of light, and she pulls back, blinking, having trouble seeing in this already very dark tunnel.
This is so bad.
What do you do with your other quick action?
Yeah, well, I think I don't know. I will, can I steal her quiver while she's blinded?
You can certainly try to. I think ultimately she knows you're coming at her, so I think this is more of it's like a sort of grapple test. But I'll let you, because you have your knives, you're better at melee, you can cut it from her. You can try and cut her quiver off of her and take it that way. It's not skullduggery is what I'm saying. Skullduggery is a subtle woo. But she's she knows you're there and she's actively trying to stop.
Grapple isn't a quick action.
Right, but that's why I say it's not I didn't say it's actually a grapple.
Oh, okay.
It's robbery.
Yeah.
Listen,
if robbery isn't a quick action, you're doing robbery wrong.
Yeah, you can take one of your knives and you can use a quick action to attack with one of your knives to try and cut the quiver from her back.
Okay.
Feels like a called shot, so put it at a -2. Do you want to do any damage to her as you do, or do you want to just
Nope.
okay?
Kinsey dies and we live, I want plausible deniability. Not that I want Kinsey to die. I love you, Kinsey. But also, what the fuck, Kinsey?
So, that's fair.
So you said it was a -2?
Yes, for a called shot. You are up against 7.
Okay, cool. I have 2 net hits.
All
I
right.
have a 10 high followed by another 7.
Okay. She's pulled back, and as she like tries reaching for the quiver, you just deftly like slip beside her, and like under her like arm that's reaching back, you just like swipe up with your dagger and like cut the band that attaches her quiver, and with your other hand you grab the top of the quiver and you pull it from her back, and so she has like nothing to reach for now.
Map me, bro. I don't say that.
Oh, but you should.
And then that's it. You stay kind of in the general like same area, or are you making a break any direction?
I'm waiting to see what anyone does.
Sure.
I guess.
Well, Cho is next, and she is going to kind of like give a dubious glance back to Roland, and then she sees like pop, arrow fly, pop, like, and then like you move up and cut the quiver, and she like immediately like pulls her pistol, and with the burst fire of her pistol, she's going to shoot at both Pax and Kinsey.
Okay.
Sure.
So both of you are gonna have to roll a dodge test.
I'm going to use my second use of motivational speaker, and just like sharply think as like in shocking and interrupt thing. Just what the fuck are you doing? To like try and break Cho's focus to give Kinsey a bonus to dodge.
All right.
Thank you.
So he's basically rolling to assist your dodge here.
Sorry, what was the negative modifier?
There's no negative modifier.
Kinsey, please dodge at a +5.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
Let's
Yes. Just excellent, truly. Come on now.
All right. Currently, the two of you are up against a 9.
Ah!
But I have grit and numbers that I could do things with. So, as the aggressor, I want to know what your highest are.
Well, in addition to my triple 9s, I also have an 11.
Okay.
I've got a high of 5.
Kinsey! What? Kinsey!
It's because I rolled so well last session, so really making up for it this time round.
You're making it so hard to keep you alive, Kinsey, and I'm doing everything I can.
Dice, you did perfectly. I rolled a 2, a 4, and a 5.
I successfully dodged my attack. Can it be because I was jumping in front of Kinsey?
Yeah. I mean, you can roll deflect if you'd like to jump in the way.
I don't have a
but
shield.
we have to finish. Yeah, I know. It means you get hit. I do have to resolve this attack first, though.
Okay.
So I am going to spend grit.
Okay.
And that grit means that both Kinsey and Pax get a grit.
I can't take it. Continue.
Can I make what I think is a reasonable argument for why I should get grit? I've expended a resource on this attack, which you've now used grit to effect.
Get a grit.
Yes!
You are correct. You are involved in this shot. And that yeah. Okay. So Pax, you do get hit now. You get hit for 5 damage with 2 armor piercing.
Wait, you spent grit?
Yes. Oh
Can
yeah.
I-
2 more.
I spend grit?
I now have a 12.
Okay, cool. I'm rolling for 16, so I'm gonna I'm gonna spend a grit to roll another die.
You're gonna make your own luck?
Yeah.
Seems good.
I'll take that 14.
There you go. Okay, cool. So Kinsey will be taking damage unless you want to roll deflect to interpose yourself. It's up to you.
Can I roll blend to make it look like I trip?
I need to know whether or not you want to jump in the way of the bullet.
I'm gonna try and save Kinsey's dumb life.
All right. So you take an initiative hit.
Yeah.
And
it may not even work because I don't have great deflect stats.
well, roll deflect. All you have to do is, in this instance, like you can take a +2 to this because when you're rolling deflect without a shield, it's not a matter of do you beat the other person who's shooting at your friend. It's do you roll enough to actually move enough. And because you have to move so little, you get a +2 in this instance.
Okay.
Like if he was really far away, you'd be at a negative to try and
No.
close.
So do I still have to beat her 11
Literally,
though?
no, you just have to get successes here.
It's effectively an unopposed test, right?
Yes, this is an unopposed test.
I crit. I have 3 hits, 9 high.
Yeah, the high doesn't matter. This is an unopposed check. It is literally, can you move enough distance at enough speed to intercept the bullets? And you do!
I get close enough to be hit center mass.
Congratulations, you take 10 damage for 2 armor piercing.
But you know, that would have put me at 0 hit points, so I do appreciate it.
So,
I don't appreciate it, Kinsey.
Well,
I don't.
Well,
So Cho pulls out her gun. She jolts as a voice shouts in her head, and the shot goes a little wide, missing you. At first, it looks like it's gonna miss you, Pax, but you realize Kinsey is in the line of fire, so you throw yourself in, kind of turning your back, and your back gets riddled with bullets.
Because I got 3 hits, did I roll blend to make it look like I am not trying to save Kinsey? I just got hit.
You can roll blend. Do it
Yeah.
at a -2.
Cool.
can I roll to tell whether or not she did it on purpose?
Yeah, you can roll perception or observe. You can roll observe against her blend and see if you can tell whether or not she did it on purpose. Oh, I love it. What's your highest Pax?
I have a 9 high.
And Kinsey?
Kinsey has a 12 high.
All right. Is that one or more net successes?
Single success.
I'm pretty sure she did that on purpose. You're like, oh my god, I think she just took a bullet for me. Also, Kinsey, have a grit because that's hilarious. Okay.
Do I get to know if I'm even kind of successful, or I just can't tell?
I mean, you'll find out, right?
God damn it. So I have to figure out what I'm doing with this damage that I took. So that will bust.
Oh yeah, it's 10 damage. Do you want to take an injury, or do you want to take the damage? It's up to you.
Yeah, I will take an injury.
Okay. Does your toughness make it a class 1?
I don't have any toughness. So.
Oh, you don't? So it's a class 2?
Nope, just stealthy, fitted, and electric resistant.
What a group we are.
Well, I didn't plan on taking any bullets for you, Kinsey.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry.
All right. I rolled a 3.
Oh yeah, you don't have the chart in front of you, and neither do I. But they do.
It is slowed down. It's -1 to your static initiative.
Okay.
And that happens immediately, so your initiative is now 2. Okay.
Okay. Here, that's...
So this exchange happens super fast, and then 20 feet beyond Kinsey, a door opens up.
Oh my god, sorry.
And you see a confused and shocked and battle-ready group of family, like gunmen, like rush into the tunnel. They kind of assess the situation for a second. They don't like run forward. They kind of open the door, see what's going on. There's, you can see 4 of them right now. They open up the door, and they don't exactly know what's going on. They kind of assess the situation, and then they are going to shoot at Rosa, and Sierra.
Okay.
Well, take it.
All right. Okay. And they start firing on Rosa, and she manages to avoid all of their shots. Zigzagging, darting, leaping forward. It's as if her armor is specially tailored to give her bonuses to dodge. As she kind of like rolls, she's getting ready to shoot at you again, Kinsey, and her like head snaps to the side as the door opens, and before they even like begin opening fire, she starts like leaping forward into like a roll to press up against the opposite wall. The bullets run up that way, and then she starts like zigzagging as they're like trying to get a bead on her. Sierra, though,
Does Rosa go away from or towards the jumping Yakis?
she's staying relatively in the same place.
Okay.
Because you don't actually move when you dodge. So she is still dangerously close to other jumping Yakis. Sierra is not as lucky, though. She does get hit. She takes a shot in the shoulder, still blinking wildly, kind of blinded from Pax. She's not ready for anything. She doesn't even know like that door's opened up. And all of a sudden, she just gets like riddled with some shots, and she like ducks down and like gets pelted a little bit. Her armor starts shredding, and then 4 more family members are going to run past those 4 who were shooting. And they are going to not quite be able to get up at Rosa yet, but they're like bum rushing Rosa and Kinsey's position, like running down the hall. They have looks like electrified kind of like swords in one, and like nothing else in the other hand. They just have like the swords. They're just rushing forward.
No pistols?
No pistols. And Kinsey, it's your turn.
Finally, well. Yes, I think I'm going to take another shot at Rosa. This time with my rifle, if I may.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you drop, like, you've been shot a couple times. You drop your pistol into your holster, unsling your rifle over your shoulder. You are going to be at that -2,
Yes.
in addition to anything else you might have,
Yes.
as you are quite intimidated by Rosa at this moment. But she did just dodge a whole bunch, so she's at some penalties here.
What is my target? for my most aggressive-looking dice. Yes, that's no successes at all.
Oh, well then, yeah.
No.
Does your gun have no reliability?
Well, I have no reliability.
But your gun
at
probably
taking
has
away.
some.
My gun has... Oh, I guess it does, doesn't it? It has
You have
one.
a really
It has
shitty
one.
gun to have no reliability.
It has one reliability. That's just right. So which one? Yeah. Right, fine. It's a 9.
Ah, that beats her 7.
I don't believe it. All right. So yes, that's my power.
Yeah.
It's 5 damage.
Whew.
2 piercing. And yes, I'm just using the regular ammo. Yes.
Yeah, so you fling your rifle over. She's like dodge. She sees the people coming. She like backs up a little bit, and then you just like hit her like right in the ribs with like a shot, like almost point blank. As she like her like instincts make her turn and try to leap out of the way, but she's not fast enough because there's too much going on. And you nail her in the side, and she crumples to one knee. And like grits her teeth. She is still alive though.
Oh no, I probably just made her mad. I know that.
I mean, she's not looking great. She's definitely like already like her hair is matted with sweat, and she's like, you know, she's got blood. You've shot her a couple times. She got slammed into the friggin' ceiling. She looks bad. It is Maddie's turn. He yells, "It's an ambush!" And he reaches into his jacket, flings a grenade at the family members down the way. The ones that are in the door, there's just a poof, as his grenade like kind of lands cleanly there. The ones who are further down the hall, let's see if they can avoid that explosion. I think they probably can. Yeah. The 4 that are running down the hall, they kind of like have the fire at their back, but it like kind of dissipates before it can get to where they are. And then his other hand comes out of his jacket, producing another grenade-looking device, and he throws it on the ground, and poof, a big cloud of smoke fills the area, obscuring everyone's view. It's about like 10 to 15 feet in radius, and it's centered on like basically the whole fray. It fills up heavily. Like now you can't see the family members who are running. You can like Kinsey, you can kind of see the blue of the electricity like crackling up and down their blades, but like they've been completely obscured. You can't even really see your companions now on the other side of the jumping yuckies. As a giant smoke grenade has just like kind of completely filled this area with obscuring smoke. Let's have all 3 of you roll an observe test for me. Kinsey, you are at a -6, and Roland and Pax, you are at a -3.
My night vision goggles don't help a little, right?
Will not, no.
Also, my power is actually 6 for my weapon, not to go back.
Oh, cool.
Set
She's still
5 and
alive,
6.
but
Of
that's
course she is.
no.
No, it's my fault. I was looking at the wrong weapon.
Do you mind repeating that negative?
What's up?
The negative minus
-3 for you. -3 for you and Roland, -6 for Kinsey.
It's a high of 4 for Kinsey.
Okay. You guys are actually up against a 4 as well. So, Kinsey, I don't think you see anything because I'm pretty sure Maddie's the aggressor in this instance. But what about Pax and Roll?
I've got 3 net hits over a 4.
Okay, cool. You see Pax, how about you?
I have 2 net hits.
Cool. You both see Maddie make his way back past where Roland is, where Roland and Cho are. And he's trying to make a break for it. He doesn't run Roland with 3 successes. You see, he's not just booking it. He's not making like a complete run. He runs to the intersection and kind of like positions himself to like get ready to like help anyone who's running through. And he produces a it looks like a shotgun that he like kind of pulls out of his coat, and like he's like at the ready, a little like kind of almost guarding the tunnel that you guys came in through.
Cool.
So, Pax, you see him disappear that way. Roland, you see where he sets up. And then, like, he kind of gets obscured by more smoke. But, like, you're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's staying there. It is your turn, Roland.
Great. So, the bad man. It's got, like a big pack. It's presumably, from what I've seen, filled with explosives, right?
It is possible.
I guess when he pulled out the grenade he threw, it came from said pack.
It came from it. Actually, it's like he had them slung inside his jacket. So like, I mean, like you've seen like in his pack before. Like this dude, he is no stranger to explosives. He probably has explosives on his person at all time. You are very confident that the grenade he just threw is not the only explosive he has on him.
Right. Listen, I've seen his type before. That bag, I'm extremely confident there are grenades in it. And I'm going to drop to a knee and shoot at his pack.
Okay. All right. So you are at a -3 because of the smoke. And then it's a called shot, so that's a -2.
Sure. Presumably he can't see me though.
He'll be at a -3 as well to dodge you, but he doesn't have that additional -2.
Great. I will. Sure. This is my one trick. I'll continue to use it. I spend a grit to bamboozle him.
Okay.
So you said it's a -3 for smoke and then a -2 for cold shot?
Yes. You were up against a 7.
Unfortunately, there's no way to beat a 7 for me.
Okay. So he's there with his shotgun. He's at the ready.
My rifle is silenced.
Nice. He's like got his shotgun at the ready. And there's like a little, and he's like, "What?" And it's like hits right by him. He's like, "Ah!" He yells, "They got us surrounded!"
That's fine. I'm okay with that outcome.
And it's Rosa's turn again. I am going to everyone get a grit. I'm gonna call now that Rosa, prior to her turn, is going to end this turn by doubling down, so she can shoot 4 times. And so yeah, Kinsey, she. Okay. Yeah. Kinsey, you saw her like move with that precision. You shot her in the rib. It drops to a knee. There's smoke swirling around her, and she like just stands up, in slow motion, and you can see like the smoke like kind of clear a little bit as she like grits her teeth, and her eyes look straight down the hall with like precision, like she's cutting through the smoke with her sight. And then the smoke swirls around her again, and you lose sight of her, and you just see that same kind of like explosive, like kind of energy-filled blast go, just like 4 quick shots, and those little glowing blades you see that were approaching you at full speed, they just clatter to the ground. And then, when the smoke clears again, she has moved. You can roll an observe test to try and track her movement if you'd like.
I'd like to do that, yes.
Yeah, Pax and Pax and Roland. You may also roll. Kinsey, you are at a -3 for this. Pax and Roland, you are at a -6.
I've got clear sight, so I think that reduces it down.
All of these penalties I've been giving you, Roland, you should have 1 less.
Wouldn't have mattered for many of them.
Yeah, it's just visibility penalties. All visibility penalties are 1 less for you.
Oh, yes, my dice love me tonight.
I'm going to spend 2 grit to play to the gallery.
Oh, wait, don't do that yet. Let me tell you what my highest is, right? Just in case.
That's it.
Yeah, I know you're hurting for grit a little bit, so I don't want you to spend it if you can't beat it. You are up against the 13.
No, that's fine. Right, that's not going to help me. Never mind.
I don't have enough grit to do anything against the 13.
And Pax?
I have 3 successes, but double 4 high, so.
Okay. So none of you see where Rosa goes. She disappears into the smoke. Just gotta roll a quick test for her. I'm sure she'll do it. She's very nimble-footed, but.
Has she turned off her group vision?
Oh yeah, I mean, you guys basically just got shunted out immediately. As on Cho's turn, I think everyone but Roland got completely shunted out. Roland, you're still in it, but no one's sharing anything with you. So it's basically like you can page them.
Great.
Rumble.
Yeah, nothing else happens. And now Sierra's gonna go. You hear her yell a curse word, Pax, as she's like reaching for her quiver and it's not there.
Nailed it.
And she is going to she is going to pull out a knife.
Ooh.
And she's gonna like rush towards you, Pax. You see the smoke part as she rushes at you with this knife, and she's gonna take a swing at it, or a swing with it.
Doesn't seem very smart of her.
You're muted if you're saying anything.
Dang, I thought I hit the button. So if I want to parry that, that's I can do that, right?
Yes. Yeah, you can instead of rolling a dodge test, you can roll a parry test and use your melee skill instead. There's no visibility penalties to this because she's gotten so close that's like the smoke's not there. And you are up against. Currently, you're up against 12.
I eat 12s for breakfast.
Must be nice.
I have 2 net hits on that. Or yeah, she's the aggressive type too.
Nice. Okay. What's your highest though?
14.
Okay, cool. Then I will not spend any grit. Yeah. So she swings with the one knife, missing you. And then she is going to, after swinging with the knife, she's going to like kind of follow that motion to like swing her leg around and try to kick you in the head.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you're fine. You're up against a 9.
Oh, yeah, I have an 11.
Yeah. So she swings the knife. You parry it swiftly with your own knife. Her leg swings over your head as you kind of duck, and then she's gonna like land and try to throw an elbow at you.
She gets 3 attacks?
She does. She gets an extra melee attack.
Well, you know what?
Perhaps a talent tree. Or an extra unarmed attack specifically.
So this is my 3rd attack, so I have a -2. Then I have a +3.
Hey, you know what? Before you roll there,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna spend some grit. I'm gonna bamboozle you. You can get. I'm gonna feel really bad if you're full on grit, but you can get 2 grit because I'm gonna bamboozle you twice.
I'm full on grit, which I have already said. This.
I couldn't remember if you spent it. You should spend
I
it.
haven't had a turn since you gave me 2 grit. Rosa went, and I haven't yet.
Bamboozle them 12 times. Just do it. Just go for it.
Yeah, you're at a
11.
You're at a -2.
All right. So I'm at a net -1.
Mm-hmm.
Here. I should use this dice tower all the time. It is rocking my socks.
You are up against a 12.
Okay. So can I go at strong?
Yeah, you can if you wanna. If you have a roll that could beat a 12, but your negatives prevent it, you could go at strong and get rid of those negatives.
Yeah, I would like to go at strong. Is that 3 or 4?
Yeah.
It
It's
is
3.
All right. I'm down to 9 whole grit,
Nice.
and I have a 14.
Yeah, so that elbow comes flying up, and you just catch it in your arm, swinging it, and like pull up, and like her arm like reaches its limit, and then she like jumps and does like a flip to like slip her arm out, so you can't like get her in an arm lock. But you've successfully avoided her attacks.
Man, all I feel like it's that one fight. Is it in Korra where or like where he's just like.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, grab, twist, she jumps, pulls out, and then she makes a move away from you. You can roll an observe test to try and track Sierra Phillips' movements.
Okay.
You won't have a penalty at this because she was right by you. Kinsey, you can also roll. You're at a -6. And Roland, you can roll. You're at a -3.
It'll come down.
All right. So you're all up against 14.
Nope.
Nope.
No.
He's very sneaky, and so what happens? She does that like flip to get her arm out from you, and she looks at you, and you see like a spark of fear in her eye as like you lock eyes with her, and then she just like jumps back, and the smoke like envelops around her, and she disappears. And Pax, you are up.
No.
You could hold your turn.
I don't know what for. I'm gonna go. grab Kinsey, and I'm going to literally drag him. Oh no, he's on the other side of the Yucky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's not unconscious either.
No, I was just gonna save him. I got a shot for him. I might as well save him, but I'm not doing it because of the Yucky. I don't know where they are. I wasn't paying attention.
You know where the Yucky are. You know where they are. It took Kinsey a while to put them there.
I mean, I know where they are generally,
and
but like
there is a giant hole where one of them has gone off, and you know that they're in a line.
In weird directions.
Fair. I mean, I'm not saying you have to jump over them to get to Kinsey. He's also not unconscious, and so you don't have to like go and like throw over your shoulder and carry him out, Saving Private Ryan style.
Oh, I wasn't gonna do that. I was literally just gonna drag him somewhere else. I don't have a plan. This sucks. Cool. So, yeah, okay, so I'm gonna stuff her quiver in like my bag. And then I will move over to where Cho is.
Uh-huh.
Can I disarm her?
Yeah, you can try to. You can make an attack at a -2 to try and knock her weapon out of her hand.
I would like to take it. Do I have to get a certain number of hits for that?
Yeah, pretty much. You'd have to get a bunch of net hits to like achieve more than just getting it out of her hand.
Okay. I'll spend 2 grit to bamboozle her.
Okay.
There, I've spent my grit. Stop whining.
Stop whining.
Stop whining.
You are up against a. You bamboozled. You're up against an 8.
Cool. I have a 9 and 2 10s.
Okay. Yeah. You can manage to like. You run up. You like sheathe your daggers. She's like kind of like looking through the smoke, and you just kind of move through the smoke quickly, and you just grab her gun and like smack it out of her hand, and now you have her gun.
And then I would like to sneak away into the smoke.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll sneak.
I'm gonna stop this fight, and then they're all gonna die. But it's gonna. I have mixed feelings. Okay. Neck. Oh yeah. I have a 14.
A 13?
14.
A 14. Yeah, I mean, as far as you know, no one knows where you are. You grab her gun, she like pulls back, and then like she blinks and you're gone. Roland, you are kicked out of the telepathic link. You kind of felt that like connection kind of like hanging out, and then it finally goes away.
Okay.
Cho is going to move away from you. She is going to try and sneak away from you. So you can roll. You were right next to her, so you can roll and observe at no penalty. Pax, you can roll at a -3. Kinsey, you can roll at a -6.
-6, yes.
Looks like you are up against 9.
I'm not even going to roll. I can't beat that.
No, yeah, I don't.
No. I got hit, but they don't care.
Yeah. So she disappears into the smoke. At this point, Roland, you can still see the madman. Everyone else has kind of like disappeared into the smoke, but you still got a line on him. You see his eyes snap towards the hallway that goes directly. You guys turned right at the intersection, basically. The hallway that would have been straight You see his eyes snap that way, and then he dives for the ground as bullets start flying towards him. And you see muzzle flare as it looks like, you know, you're kind of near enough the intersection, being by Cho, that like you can kind of like peek around and you see looks like there's like 8 family members who are approaching down that hallway. Kinsey, where you are, in the smoke, you see there's not gunfire flying at you, but you do see figures moving. It looks like 4 more figures are moving down that hallway from where all the family members were coming out of. You see more figures approaching, and they're like approaching quickly, and it looks like they're armed. You can kind of make out it looks like it's probably family members running into the fight, trying to figure out who to shoot. And then you hear, all of you hear a sound, and the smoke starts to dissipate. It hasn't dissipated completely, but it looks like a ventilation system has been kicked onto overdrive. And the smoke is starting to clear a little bit. There's still visibility penalties, but you can already start to see, like Kinsey, you can see Roland, I guess, maybe Pax. I don't know if Pax is trying to hide from you specifically, but you can definitely see Roland because Pax rolled a pretty good sneak. You also, Kinsey, you can see like you can hear the gunshots and see like there's gunshots coming from that northern kind of hallway. It is your turn now, Kinsey.
Perfect. By northern, you mean?
Directly across from the smaller tunnel you came in. So if you were to go back to that intersection and turn right, you would be running directly at the bullets.
Right. That's what I figured. Sure. I would love to try and figure out where Rosa is. Would I be able to do that and shoot at her?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll an observe test. You're also gonna be moving during this. You can tell now that the smoke is starting to clear. Unless she's extremely well hidden down the way that the family members are coming, she's not there. And she's also not in between you and Roland. There's not like little nooks for her to hide in there. So you probably have to get to the intersection to have a chance of even seeing her, which you can do easily enough. You can hop over the jumping yucky and run that way.
I paid attention while I was planting them. So.
Yeah. And you can roll an observe test. This will just be at a -2.
-2, sure. A high of 4. Is it too late for me to go strong?
No, you can go strong after you roll.
I think I'll do that, yes. I'd love to do that.
Well, first, would you like to know what you're up against?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Alright, you're up against a 10.
I'm going to go strong.
Okay.
It's 1 success at 12.
Okay, cool. So you go moving in, and as you're kind of like approaching Roland's position, you look down and you see like this kind of blood trail from where she was, like where she probably, was running, and you can definitely tell she turned left towards the tunnel that you guys came in from. As you turn that corner, though, there's bullets flying, so you can't like run in there without like being super risky. So you stop. You do see the madman there, kind of like at the entrance to that tunnel. You also see Cho there. You do not see Sierra anywhere. And there's movement inside the tunnel you came from. It could be Sierra. It could be Rosa. You're not 100% sure.
And that's the intersection where the door towards the indentured servants are?
Yeah, they're not heading that way. That door is across from where you are right now. The tunnel that it looks like the Dead Man's gang are retreating through is the tunnel you guys came from. The one that leads to apartments. Yeah.
Got it. Sure. Yes. But I know where she's going. I'd like to...
You're sure that she went that way. You don't know if that movement you see in that hallway, in that tunnel, is her or not. It's too dark and
But
too
I can
far.
see enough to take a shot.
You can. It will be like at a -6 because it's kind of like a blind fire.
Alright, sure. Rather than doing that, I think I'll just move down the tunnel a little bit further.
Okay, cool. So you're gonna kind of like run to get into the tunnel. You'd have to run past Cho and Maddie. That's what you want to do.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So Roland, you're there. Bullets are flying. The smoke starts to clear, and then like just like full speed, like Kinsey just books past you and like runs down that tunnel. Bullets whizzing over his shoulders as he sprints right past Cho and Maddie and into that hallway. At that point, Kinsey, I will say you can see Rosa. You've definitely put yourself in a very bad spot to achieve it, but like now like you've gotten close enough that like it's not really even an observed test now. You've run into that tunnel, you can see her. It doesn't look like she's like running away, but she has like kind of moved deeper down that tunnel. She's turned around, she's like clutching her wounds, and she sees you coming, and she like kind of like grits her teeth. There's blood in her teeth. And her kind of hunched form that was in pain immediately straightens up like into like a battle stance as you close in on her.
Sure.
What do you do?
I'd like to take her out if I can.
Okay. You can roll an attack against her. There's no modifiers. You already got past your fear of her.
Right.
So just whatever wound modifiers you might have.
Just the...
And your exhausted modifier.
Yes. Which is a wound modifier.
What's up?
Sorry. Being
No, you're good.
facetious. I'll try this one more time.
All right, Kinsey, you are up against an 11.
Huh? I'm going to make my own luck. I'm going to give it one more shot.
Okay.
Right, yeah, that's nothing. At all.
Nothing that gets over an 11, yeah?
Right, yes, no net hits.
Yeah. So this was with your rifle or your pistol?
Rifle.
So you like run in like a soldier running through a battlefield. You skid to a stop. She like stands up straight as she sees you. You like slam a foot down, kind of skidding, and you take a shot. And she drops to a knee. Like instead of trying to dodge or anything, she just drops down to the ground. And the bullet flies over her. And Maddie is going to go. Maddie is going to return fire on the family members who are approaching from that hallway. Roland, you see he hits none of them. He does have a spread shot. He just does like double barrel, like he just shoots twice, and then he goes running, and he actually runs and then like stops behind Kinsey, like startled. And Roland, it's your turn.
Okay. I would like to take a quick glance around for Sierra.
Go for it.
That's a good roll. I hope it matters at all.
You are up against a 9.
Oh, great. I got a 10, 11, and a 12.
Sweet. So you don't see Sierra, but you notice that the door leading to the servants' quarters is ajar. And no family members have come through there, and you recall that when you came in and kind of surveyed all 3 pathways, that door was closed. Just like Pax left it, and now it's open.
Okay.
And you're you're 100% sure she went that way. You also see a slight footprint that matches her boot pattern.
It's a distinctive boot.
Looks like she stepped in a little bit of Rose's blood on the way.
Sure. I will, I stop that way, and then stop and swear under my breath, and then run towards Kinsey.
Okay. Yeah, so you run that way. The family members have stopped shooting because they had to dive to get away from the spread shot. You see Cho is there at that entrance, kind of making her way towards it. The madman has just run by her and stopped, and then about 5 feet in front of the madman is Kinsey, and about 5 feet in front of him is Rosa.
As I pass Cho, I will just under my breath, just sort of stay down and you might live. And as I pull up to Kinsey, I will shoot at Rosa, and maybe I'll say something afterwards.
Depending on how it goes, sure.
Because I don't want to give my cool one-liner if I'm gonna miss. But I will spend the 1 grit she gave me by doubling down to bamboozle her.
All right. Currently up against a 10.
Tommy, I got a lot of hits, but I'm gonna tell you the only 2 that matter. They're the 2 10s, which are my target.
All right. So, unfortunately for you, I haven't spent any extra grit. I have a big old mountain of it here.
Sure.
And she is gonna go it strong, so she can count this 12.
Okay.
But you get grit.
Cool, fine. I had a cool one-liner, and I was gonna kill the big boss of this fight, but that's fine.
But now you have a grit.
It's nothing. Yeah, I'll shoot at her, and as she gets out of the way, I will grin at her, and I will say, "The family has what you want, and it's not the guns."
Yeah, so you take the
Run
shot.
and hide, coward.
She drops to a knee. You take the shot. She rolls back out of it, and it hits the ground where she was. And then you say that, and go ahead and roll a manipulation check. Actually.
Do I have to use my reliability before you spend grit at me?
Yeah, it has to be resolved.
Alright.
You are up against a 6.
Oh, Rosa. I have 4 net hits over a 6.
Sweet. So you say that so she dropped down to a knee, and her guns were coming up, she was dropping down, and in that split second as her gun was coming up to shoot Kinsey, you shot at her again, so she mid draw rolls back, and she lands on both knees, and and starts standing up. Her guns are getting ready. You think she's gonna just take a shot at both you and Kinsey, and right as you say that, she stops mid draw. And then goes, shit, and I'm gonna spend 4 grit. So everyone here can have a grit. Basically, this is me like flashbacking to her having like taken a smoke grenade from Maddie on the way out, right? She will. You say that, and instead of taking that moment to take a shot, she holsters her guns, turns, and tosses a smoke grenade onto the ground behind her, which bursts up in smoke, and you lose track of her as she runs towards the apartments, towards presumably an escape. But like you could still try. But that's her flashback to get away. And Roland, you are 110% convinced. Like you are super certain.
I've seen into his soul in this moment.
That you get like this inkling, like the way she said shit, the way she didn't take a shot before she left. You are certain of two things. One, you'll see Rosa Valantis again, and two, she isn't gonna go back to Rufus until she has taken what she wants from the family.
I know.
That's the thing you just convinced her to. That's the course of action you just convinced her to take.
It's exactly what I wanted, and it seems I've obtained something I wanted with only words.
You have a weird concept of what obtained mean, but what you definitely did is you did trick somebody into a disadvantageous position.
I mean, I went over there with the explicit intent of killing her, or absent that, making sure she doesn't run.
Sure.
I will say a predator was certainly evaded in that moment, so...
Yeah, that's an XP there.
XP open
and
fight
XP and grit for there. An open fight was avoided through underhanded means, so that's an XP there. And that's Rosa. That's her turn. She uses all of her turn to run away.
Also, I've taken things that I want but don't deserve, like other people's weapons.
Like the quivers and the gun. Yeah, absolutely. Take a grit and an XP for everybody.
And then also, someone was threatened with violence. I can't figure out who, but someone definitely was.
Yeah, no, a lot of people were. Yeah, Pax, it's your turn. The smoke is now really close to clearing. You can see there's 4 guys approaching from the other side of the Jumping Yucky. There's also in the hallway, there's 4 guys approaching who have just been like shot at by the madman. Roland and Kinsey went into the tunnel. You guys came from the tunnel that leads to the apartments. Just outside the door to that tunnel is Cho, unarmed, looking kind of frightened. And also, right by Roland and Kinsey, like kind of right behind them, is the madman holding a shotgun.
Surely if the smoke is clearing, Pax can see the ajar door to the servants' quarters.
Yeah.
Roll an observe test to see if you notice that.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. The 9 was what I rolled for that, for her to cover her tracks there. So you can beat a 9 with an observe test. I'll let you know.
No,
Okay.
I still kind of want to save Cho's life, even though we've already discussed it. Okay, I would like to grapple Cho, but grapple her in like a pin her against a wall and stand in front of her kind of way, if that makes sense. Just
Yeah.
wanna, like squish her.
Yeah, sure. You want to subdue her though, so that does take an unarmed check.
Oh, are you sure that it's not?
I'm absolutely sure that the thing that
I'm
you were
also
trying to do.
absolutely sure. It's
Yeah.
not. It's only like 2 less on my target. It is. I will be fine.
Well, you're up against the 3.
Hey.
Surprise! Cho is sleight of frame and not a fist fighter.
Yeah, my only fear is that she has some mind powers that will make me do crazy things.
Well, it hasn't been her turn yet.
But she said that she was going to be tapped out, so...
But then she was convinced not to use that power.
Oh, dicks. Well, I have 3 net hits over that.
Okay.
Over 4.
Yeah. So yeah, she's like sees like what's going on there. She's kind of watching the madman, seeing if the madman's going to take a shot on Roland and Kinsey. And then she like doesn't hear you until it's too late, and she turns and like raises her hand, and you kind of like grab her hand and like kind of push it off to the side and like push her against the wall and like kind of like constrain her there again in the corner there next to that doorway.
And I'll say, if you run, they will catch you and they will kill you.
And then Roland and Kinsey, the smoke in front of you is like kind of billowing at your feet, and then you hear a behind you, and you turn, and the madman has his shotgun. He like snaps it back up, like having just refilled the double barrels, and he swings it to point and like at the two of you. It's like right at both of you, and then you hear behind him as all of the family members go before him. And he gets shredded. Yeah, we will, I think at that point, drop out of initiative. Madman's down, and you see the 4 guys coming down the hallway. Just gotta roll a thing. Yep. You also hear as another jumping yucky is triggered, as those 4 family members who were approaching from the hallway Kinsey was standing in step on one of the jumping yuckies, and it bursts up, and they're like, "What the shit?"
We can tell them where the trap was. That's on them. I don't feel bad about that one at all.
And they pull like that guy out of the way, and the other ones like step over. He's alive, it looks like, but he's like, ah! Like clutching like a giant, like the stock like stabbed into his abdomen, and he's like bleeding. They like drag him out, and then the 4 come, and then the other 2 come because one guy's dragging the hurt guy back, and then you see another 4 and another 4. So you guys basically, this hallway fills up with family real fast, and a lot of them have their guns trained on Cho, who at first is resisting against you, Pax, and then like she sees all the guns and she puts her hands up and she goes, all right, I'll surrender.
She's with us. And I'll like turn around and like stand in front of her, and hopefully Roland will take it from there.
And they like kind of lower their guns a little bit, and they look around. They're like, "Are you left?"
One left through the servants' quarters. Another got away through the apartments. I suggest you move fast. They're coming back for sure.
And they like nod at that, and one guy pulls out a radio, and he gestures with his hands, and 5 of them go running towards the servants' quarters, bursting through that door and running up that hallway. He grabs radio and he's like, "Shh, we got one that escaped through the apartments, and there may be one in the servants' quarters. Service forces move that way." And then he like lets go, and he looks around, sees like some dead family, and he goes, "This better be fucking worth it." And he like puts his radio back like in his jacket, like on the back of his belt, and he goes, "All right, round up the dead. See if they got anything on them." You 3. 4. Akea wants a
4.
meeting. Mrs. Gatii wants a meeting.
I gesture to lead the way. I do have a question, though. And not for this man, for you, Tommy.
Okay.
Do we get 1 grit for surviving a dangerous situation? I have a flashback I'd like to do in 4 grit if we did.
Yeah, no, you absolutely just survived a deadly situation, yes.
Great.
And I'm going to give you guys an extra grit based on how certain I was that you were going to die. At least I was really sure that Kinsey was going to die.
At the very least, yes.
Oh man, we should do extremely dumb things more often.
I disagree.
Yeah, I would like to spend 4 grit to flashback as we're on our way to talk to Mrs. Gatii.
Okay, well, how did you prepare for this situation?
After Rosa and Sierra and the madman arrived in town, and it was clear that we were very untrusted, and I had bought us this job and not much past it. Actually, on our stroll to the schoolhouse, after we stopped at the schoolhouse, I told Pax, I've got one more stop I need to make. And I went and I spoke with the sheriff and the guys that he had met before.
Okay. Yeah. You do. Benito's his name, right?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, howdy, partner.
Hey, how's it going? Listen, I don't want any trouble in your very nice, lovely town. But I saw a couple unsavory characters that I think I recognized from the bounty board over there. They was like skulking through town. I kind of overheard them saying they had some business here. I think Rosa Valantes, Maddie the Madman, and Sierra Phillips of the Dead Man's Gang are in Lily Grove.
Damn. Where'd you see him at? And he asks you questions. Go ahead and roll a manipulate test.
What am I up against?
A 5.
I have 5 net hits over a 5.
Yeah. He asks you every bit of detail. How do you want to position this? What do you want to achieve?
I'm trying to make it so that should the situation arrive where this ambush doesn't go as well as we had hoped, and some of them perhaps escape, they are hunted like dogs in the town of Lily Grove by whatever forces the sheriff sees fit to bear, and I make sure that he sees fit to bear quite a bit.
Sure. Yeah. You do that. You ask all these questions. And you're like, I heard this about Rosa. I heard this about the Dead Man's Gang. There could be even more of them. I don't know. They could be planning to hit this town like they did Wilburton, that kind of thing. Yeah, and you get that APB out. All right, cool. So you're led up into the mansion from a lower level. You pass through a large octagonal shaped room that kind of seems a little bit like an armory. There's some it's armory / workshop. There's shelves and lockboxes with weapons in them, and then also tables with weapons that are being manufactured, as well as other items that are being crafted. You pass through that and then through some other tunnels that have different doors that are sealed shut. You eventually make it to a staircase that looks, once you open the door, it looks like it probably leads up to the mansion because the staircase is very nice. It's a kind of metal and concrete a basement that immediately opens up into a warm mahogany hallway with a wide staircase leading up to a double door, and as you're going, Cho is walking with you, but she seems incredibly uncomfortable and is like looking around, and is like following you, but like keeping her mouth shut. Um, and this guy leads you up into the area, props the doors open, and leads you down the hallway back to that same room where you met Akeo before. As he walks you in, he stays in the room with you, and like goes and like lights a fire, and kind of like leans nearby the fire, lights up a cigarette, and Cho's like kind of standing there awkwardly in the room. It's that same large room, tall ceilings, very tall bookshelves, plenty of very, very comfortable furniture, tall windows with the curtains currently drawn shut. What do the three of you do as you wait?
I'll walk over to Cho. No.
What did you say?
I said I'll walk over to Cho, and well, I mean, I guess I will have stayed with her next to her like the whole way.
Sure.
And then I'll just be like, can you let us back in?
She's got her eyes are like fighting back tears. You see tears like welling in her eyes. She's like super super stiff. Like all of the like her skin is both incredibly pale and flushed at the same time. Her ears are like red. Her cheeks are red. She's got her jaw clenched shut, and she goes, "Don't talk to me."
I want to save your life.
You can roll manipulate. You can, yeah. It's just straight. The positives you would have are also negated by the damage you've done.
I think I haven't done any damage personally.
Yeah, but like it's like the collective view. I mean, you've done damage. You led them into that bloodbath.
It's the royal you is the term you're looking for.
I have 1 hit.
Well, you're up against a 6.
I have a 4, and I can't beat a 6.
Okay. Yeah, you're pretty quiet. I don't know if what's going on. Oh, okay. Well, that was loud. All right. So, yeah, she doesn't respond to you. She just sits there gritting her teeth. Like her eyes, like kind of just like staring off into the middle distance.
Seeing that Pax is not getting through to Cho, I will come over to speak to her.
Okay.
All right, Cho, here's the deal. Despite everything that our relationship is based on, I like you. You seem generally nice, if not for your affiliation with the Dead Man's Gang, and I assume you're going to say that they were your family and they accepted you. I would argue that if the people that accept you are violent psychopaths and murderers, maybe they just don't care about you and are fine with you doing things for them.
Yeah. You can roll manipulate. This will be at a -2.
Am I dressed to impress?
No. She's not impressed by you. She kind of hates you all right now.
I mean, it's a pretty incredible feat if you think about it objectively. Like, it is impressive.
She can't think about anything objectively right now.
Sure.
So you are up against a 9.
I have a 10.
Okay. She grits her teeth, looks at you, and she goes, "Sorry, can't talk now. I'm busy."
Great. Excuse me, sir. There seems to be a problem with this woman. I need you to shoot her.
He like looks up from it. He's like, he has a cigarette. And he's like listening, and then you say that, and he like immediately like kind of like kicks up off of that. His hand does kind of like drop down to his sidearm, and he goes, "Did I miss something?"
Right, that's what you was saying, Cho. You was saying that you were going to try and get back in contact with the rest of your team using your inside powers, and so we had to kill you now. Right? That's what you was saying? And not that you was going to cooperate?
He drops his cigarette on the ground, steps down on it, and draws out his firearm. And Cho like looks like a little wide-eyed, looks at this guy, and her eyes are gonna flash. Her eyes are gonna flash white. And let's see how this guard works against this. So her eyes flash white, and so do the guards for a second. And then his eyes, they're not glowing white, but they do go fogged. They like fog over. He goes, "The hell!" And he takes his gun and takes a blind shot in the room, and it like hits the globe. And Cho goes sprinting towards one of the windows and like dives through it, shattering through.
Can Kinsey take a shot at her before she hits the window?
Yes, absolutely.
I would also like to try and stop her, though. I would probably just try and grab her.
So that would be an unarmed check to try and restrain her. For your unarmed, you are up against 7.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so you like get a hand on her, but she like pulls it out. Like you don't even really slow her down. You just like kind of make contact, and then she goes sprinting towards the window. And as she's getting near the window, Kinsey pulls out his pistol,
Yes,
rifle,
yes.
and takes a shot at her.
High 12.
Oh, one.
Wait, you're just shooting her?
Oh, for sure.
You're just shooting with bullets?
With actual bullets, yes.
Okay.
You are up against an 8.
That is 3 net hits.
How much damage is that?
Double check my accuracy really quick. Actually, 2, 12. That's 12 with 2 piercing.
All right. So you level the rifle at her as she's running. You kind of lead a little bit. You take the shot. It like echoes loudly in this room, and you hit her in the like the side. Her armor seems to soak up a ton of it. But like you hit her like right as she jumps up off the ground. So it's like your shot hits her and she goes like smashing through the window, tearing the curtains as she does. And you see she kind of like rolls as she hits the ground and like is clutching her side and like sprinting along the grounds. At this point, you also, now that window's open, you can see other members of the family like on the hall or in the courtyard shooting at her direction. Like they kind of see her running and they just start like firing. I'll roll for them real quick. They do hit her for... yeah, she's sprinting. They're trying to converge on her. Gunshots are firing at her. She gets hit a few more times, and she starts making it towards the fence. She's like almost to the fence, like jumps up onto it, and the bullets are like whizzing by her. She may escape, she may not, but you guys have a chance to do something if you want.
Kinsey's going to run to the window and take another couple of shots.
Cool. You are up against 7.
Three net hits. Accuracy of 2, so that's 12 more, 2 piercing.
Yeah. So that guy, he's shouting in the room. He's fired off a couple other shots, like, randomly in the room. And he's like, did I hit her? And then you see, like, she's sprinting across the courtyard. Bullets are whizzing by. She gets hit by a couple of them. She's still running. Bullets are continuing to whiz by. She's, like, running towards, like, where the forest fencing area is, where it's actually, like, just, like, metal bars. And she leaps up, barely grabbing onto the top bar and starts pulling herself up. Bullets are starting to whiz by her, and people are, like, getting in position. And then a shot rings out from the window she smashed through. And Kinsey, from pretty far away with his rifle, hits her square in the back, and she lets go of the fencing and falls down dead. And the guy who's blind, who just yelled, "Did I hit her?" Like, his eyes start to return back to normal. He looks around, he goes, "What just happened?" And he, like, runs to your side, Kinsey, and he sees, like, her off in the distance, and, like, the family members, like, approaching her body, like, to see if she's dead. And he goes, "Damn, nice shot."
Just can't do a damn thing in a tunnel, but from a good distance away, I'm perfectly fine somehow.
All right.
I punch a wall angrily.
And then the door opens up. And in walks Akeo Gatii. She's not wearing, like, the kind of formal dress that she was wearing before. Now it looks like she's wearing more of, like, a riding outfit. So she's got, like, pants on and, like, high, tall boots. Her hair, like, braids are kind of pulled up into, like, a bun at the back of her head. And she walks in. She does have a gun slung on her hip, and, like, a knife in her belt as well. And she walks in, sees the window, and goes, "Sam, what happened?" And he goes, "We had a runner. They said she was with them, and then all of a sudden, I guess she was trying to get in contact with the gang or whatnot. I'm not 100% on what just happened, but this fella here, he shot her. So she's a goner now."
We had a valuable prisoner who could have helped quite a bit.
She goes, "Sam, you may leave us." And he goes, "All right, I'll be right outside." He steps out, shuts the door, and she goes, "Well, from what I understand, most of them were dealt with. Though I also understand that 2 of them may have escaped."
Yeah, Sierra and Rosa made it out.
Unfortunately, at least one of the more dangerous ones.
I wouldn't worry too much about Rosa making it back to Rufus, though. She ain't leaving here until she finds what she's after.
Ah, yes, that does remind me. What is she after?
Sorry, I'm blanking as a player on what we've told Akeo, because I thought she knew.
Your
they were
arrangement
after
with
Box.
your arrangement with Akeo was she said she would arrange the ambush in her tunnels, and after the ambush she would you would tell her what it was, and then
sure.
later
Okay.
she would assist you with the double ambush. You told her you could convince Rufus to continue with his plan, and that her troops would be there. And if once they've wiped out the Dead Man's gang and protected the ambassador, then you would tell her where it was.
Right. It's a box.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, to be fair, presumably it's whatever's in said box. It's a box thereafter.
Am I the only one who knows it's a map?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She, like, her jaw sets a little bit, and she goes over to the table and, like, presses both of her hands down on it, lets out a breath, looks at you and goes, "The three of you informed me that you knew what they were looking for, not what contains what they're looking for."
It's a map.
Ah. A map, you say? A map to what?
Something important that many people want. But if I tell you, then
I think we fulfilled our part of the deal now.
All right. A map worth killing for, worth kidnapping a marshal and attempting an ambush on an ambassador's convoy? Okay. Sure. Doesn't matter too much what it is, as long as it's something. So, I've held up my end of the bargain, though things did apparently get messy down there. They always do when bullets start flying, though. Glad to see the three of you survived, so we don't have to amend the second part of our arrangement. How exactly do you
you only
intend...
took care of half of them. The plan
Beg
was
your
to
pardon?
kill all of them.
My colleague does bring up an interesting point, which is if any of them survive out there, your guys sort of made it impossible for us to deliver on what we promised you.
Her eyes like narrow a little bit. We'll call that, yeah, we'll do the manipulate there. Pax, you can actually assist.
Okay. Oh. Hey, I got a hit.
That's a +1.
It matters if I'm dressed to impress or not.
You are.
Great.
You are up against 12.
I got a 14 and a 15.
Okay. Her eyes narrow for a second, and her fingers like wrap on the table. And then she pulls herself off of it and like regains her composure, and she goes, "There's truth to that. I will make sure my men scour the earth for the two of them. I have connections all throughout the garden. You say that Ms. Volantes is not going to be returning to Rufus. What of Ms. Phillips?"
Oh, she'll run. She will run, and she will hide, and she will tell the Dead Man's gang everything that's happening here. So I'd be ready for Rosa to come to you, but you're gonna need to run down Sierra.
No honor amongst thieves? They won't try together, you think?
Maybe. But they ran in separate directions. And it all sort of depends on whether or not Rosa finds Sierra first.
All right. Well, I will have my people surround the town, scour the town. I'll put in a word with the sheriff.
No need. I did.
Impressive. And I will reach out to all of my connections throughout the garden, and I will let them know Rosa Valantes and Sierra Phillips are dead the moment they're spotted. And anyone who does so will be rewarded handsomely. That should take care of it. It's at least the most I can achieve, given the information we have. Wouldn't you say that's fair?
It certainly seems fair to me.
As for the arrangement with Rufus, of course, proceeding as though things will go according to plan. What is your intention? How will you convince a man who is down so many people to try to make his move against the ambassador?
I'm gonna need some of the guns they came here to steal. If I show up empty-handed, it ain't gonna work. But hey, you gotta get them back. And I don't need all of them. Because a man like Rufus Nash, he thinks he's invincible. He just needs someone to tell him he is.
That wasn't part of our arrangement. I am not entirely happy with the notion of having the Dead Man's Gang as hurt as they are, in possession of such weaponry. Go ahead and roll manipulate. You can have a +2, because you have pointed out that she has not fully completed her end of the first part of the deal. And it looks like you're up against 12 again.
I got 115.
And she goes, however, I suppose I can part with one of them for the time being.
What is it?
Oh, they're drones. Heavily armed, very armored. Cargo drones turned into weapons.
Oh. That's... Sorry, they've been saying guns this whole time.
Well, there are guns attached to the cargo drones.
I have a question for you, Tommy.
Yeah.
Is it an achievable thing in this world to make them unable to shoot at people I designate?
With with a technology roll, possibly, yeah. Yeah,
Sure.
you could pop them open and do enough tech. It might be a longer project, or it might just be like a big negative penalty. But yeah, that is possibly something you could achieve.
Sure. They've been saying guns this whole time. We figured it was, like a bazooka or something. Yeah,
well,
listen.
2 of them do have missile launchers on them.
Listen, you give me a drone, I can make sure your guys are safe from said drone.
All right. No need to enter the tunnels again. I'll have them bring one of them up. If I recall, 3 of them have missile launchers, 2 of them have machine guns, and 1 has a laser.
I don't think we should give the Dead Man's Gang a laser.
I agree. Machine gun or missile then?
Well, I'll leave it up to you. I think the missile is going to go further in terms of convincing Rufus that he can still succeed, but I can work with the machine gun.
You said you can tamper with it in some way so it won't harm my people?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think a missile will do fine. Cal, she says, and the door slides open, and in walks Cal, the servant. He is cleanly dressed as ever, walking properly and calmly. He steps in and he goes, "Yes, madam." See our guests out and arrange for the guards to produce one of the drones, one of the ones with the missiles, and some ammunition as well. A gift for our companions. As you wish. I'll lead you to the gate.
I don't suppose you happen to have like a workshop here. I don't mean to impose, but like we've been sort of working with bare bones tools for quite a while, and I'm more able to ensure your men's safety with the proper surroundings and tools.
She stops for a second as you're like talking, and she goes, "Oh, sure. Cal, lead them into the armory below. They can leave with their drone." He goes, "Of course. Follow me." And as you start walking out, she goes, "I assume you'll stay in contact through LRC. Let me know the moment any aspect of the plan changes."
Of course.
Good. I look forward to hearing from you. And I will let you know as soon as those ruffians are dead.
Good.
And Cal leads you back down the way you came, back into that kind of octagonal-shaped room. And he goes over to like a set of doors and slides them open. And inside is like kind of a larger like kind of closet with some more shelving. And there's a couple large objects with like tarps over them. And he walks over to one and pulls the tarp off, grabs like a data pad, presses a couple buttons on it. You see a four-legged drone, or no, they're not legged. They are tracked. You see a drone with four tracks, four separate like actuating treaded kind of wheels that are kind of oblong in shape. On like kind of a large, thick body, and sticking out of the top, like not deployed at the moment, is like a missile launcher. And there's like hatches for you to put ammunition and other cargo in there. He presses a couple buttons and it like it kind of like whirs up, and then he presses a few more buttons and it wheels out into the middle of the area. At this point, you see like there's a couple hallways connecting to this area, and you see like movement. You see them dragging bodies. You see like the madman's body like getting dragged and tossed into a different room, and a couple people following in. Cal looks at all of your armor and he goes, "While you work on the drone, would you like me to repair your armor?"
Not going to lie, it would be a blessing, but I do prefer to work on my own armor, Cal, personally.
As you wish. I could provide the supplies if you'd like.
I would appreciate that, thank you.
All right, right this way. He leads you to another part of the room, opens up, and there's like plenty of like high quality armor repair supplies. I'm not going to make you roll for it because there's enough supplies here that like you can get your armor all the way full up. So that's Kinsey. Does anyone else have any busted armor?
I just have bruised ribs.
Okay.
An injury.
I was never attacked.
Must be nice.
Yeah. So he leads you to it. I guess Kinsey, you're pretty shot up, right?
Oh, I'm very shot up. Yes, I've got some broken bones.
As you take off your armor to work on it, he sees like your bloodied and like beat up body, and he goes, "Pardon the imposition, but you look a little worse for wear. I am also a quite skilled medic if you are in need of one."
Oh, what? You mean these bruises? Oh, no. Please, don't worry about me. I'll be just fine.
As you say.
Wait, you say you're a medic?
Just fine, don't you think?
Yes, I am.
Don't listen to him. He needs a doctor.
No, please.
He's got a head injury, you see. It makes him think you don't need a doctor.
If you would like to, I would accept your help. But if you don't want to, you don't have to.
No, of course. I'd be happy to. And yeah, he'll treat you. What, you have an injury?
I have a class 2 injury.
Okay. It is removed.
Awesome.
I think Kinsey starts coughing a little bit too heavily. There's just a little blood, that'll be fine.
He's like working on packs. He's watching this. You're like struggling to finish stitching up your armor because like your ribs are like broken. He finishes with you and he goes, "All good, my dear?"
Yes, thank you very much.
Of course.
Can I pay you?
Oh, no.
Just a little pocket money?
If you insist.
And I will give him my 4 spurs.
Okay. He takes it. He goes, "This is extremely generous. Are you sure?"
Do something that makes you feel good with it.
"Thank you." And he like puts a hand on your shoulder. "Thank you." And then he turns and he goes, "Now for you, sir, I must insist. I do believe your friends have the right of it, and I would prefer that you did not resist me. I am going to tend to your wounds."
All right, if you insist, fine.
"I do." And he like sets you down and he like, removes like your clothes. He goes, "My God, man." Pulls out like a med kit and like puts something in your chest that like starts regenerating the bone marrow to like make your ribs snap back into place, and starts like scanning you and like starts patching up all your other wounds. It's a little bit painful, and he's maybe just a little tougher than he needs to be. And he goes, "Perhaps if you would let me look at this sooner, it wouldn't hurt so much." "Seems you strained the fracture by insisting on fixing your armor first before tending to yourself. Might I suggest in the future, sir, that you take care of the body before the armor?"
But the armor is what protects my body. If I'm going to be shot again soon, I feel like the armor is more important, don't you?
"We're all amongst friends here, sir. No one is shooting anyone."
Well, I've heard that before.
He laughs at that and he goes, "Very well, sir."
But thank you, I do appreciate it.
Of course. Meanwhile, while all this has been going on, Roland, you've been doing what with the drone?
First, I'm finding an Omni tool.
Yeah, there's an Omni tool.
Great.
It's an excellent quality Omni tool, too.
This is an excellent
+1
Omni
to
tool.
your skill, +1 to your skill, and +1 reliability.
Yeah, I am trying to make it so it can't shoot at people I decide it can't shoot.
Sure. Yeah, let's go ahead and we'll call it one test. We're not going to do like an extended test thing. Instead, I will put you at it's a pretty hard task. You are educated though, so that gives you a bit of a bonus. You've been around technology a bit more than the average person on Manifest. So we'll just call it a -5.
Is that including, so -5 before anything else I add? Cool. That's 3 hits.
All right. Cool. So you think you've done a very good job. You get it, and I assume you put yourself in there too, so it can't be shot at like you and your team.
Yeah, listen, there's no scenario where I want a missile shot at me.
Yeah. What you're able to do actually is you create these little fobs, these little like electronic devices that anyone who has one of those in their pocket will not, like, the gun will lock up if they are at all in the blast range of the missile or in any danger. So those people would have to be clear of the shot for it to matter. You make one for each of your friends. You make a few. And as you're like kind of finishing up,
Yeah, I'll show whoever like usually works on stuff like this how I did it, so he can make another.
Yeah, Cal sees you working on it, and like you look around and you like maybe ask him like, "Hey, who should I show?" And he'll, "Oh, I am adept at such things. I can help." And you kind of show him the design. He goes, "Quite ingenious, actually."
Thanks.
Yeah, he's like, "I can make as many of this as we need for the time when the time comes."
Great. That's fantastic.
If there's nothing else you need, I can escort you and your new cargo drone to a more subtle exit than the front door.
Yeah, that sounds good. Hey, you haven't heard by chance of your guys, I tell him, what Cho's truck looks like and where it was parked. Like, is that still there? Do you know?
I wouldn't know, sir, but I could inquire for you.
Sure, that would be great. Because, like if we can show up in a truck they recognize, it's probably better.
Sure. He goes and presses like a little intercom on the wall. And he goes, Kenneth, it's Cal. What is it, Cal? And he describes the truck as you did, and he's like, all right, let me bark it down the chain, I'll see. And he goes, it might take a moment. And he sits there for a little bit, and he goes, so, I heard it was quite a firefight down here.
Yeah, it weren't great.
I'll be the first to admit that it wasn't great, yes.
One of the members of the family was wounded by not a firearm, though. I found that quite interesting. Does anyone know what caused that wound? It looked like he was skewered through. He survived, by the way.
Good. I was hoping that he would be all right. I told them where the jumping yucky would be. I don't know why nobody paid attention to me. It seemed smart to tell your entire team where potential danger would lie. You know what a jumping yucky is, of course.
Yes. I have heard tales of farmers and the like using jumping yucky to protect their crops from wildlife, but I've never seen it used, man on man, as it were. I imagine that was quite unexpected.
At least for Rosa Valantas, I believe it was, and for, of course, your man. Again, I'm glad he's all right. But no, it was quite a process, getting the containment units to work and convincing them to grow a little bit faster than they usually would.
There are also 2 more.
Yes, I should
mention. They began excavating them at the time. I believe they trimmed the roots. And the radio crackles on. He goes, Cal, it's Kenneth. Go ahead, Kenneth. Yeah, they said they spotted that truck over by the saloon on the west side of town. Do you want us to do anything about it? He looks to you.
I mean, if you guys are already there, if you don't mind, sweeping it for countermeasures and then bringing it to wherever we're gonna leave.
He nods and goes, if you can bring it around to the forest exit on the in quadrant 4, we can load our cargo up there, and that would be much appreciated. Check for any countermeasures, of course. Caution is the way of it. And he goes, yeah, don't tell me how to do my job, Cal. He goes, we'll see to it. And he nods and goes, all right, well, if you are ready, this way to the forest.
Lead the way.
And yeah, you head down a separate winding path of tunnels the drone following behind you, and you eventually get to an area where it dead ends. He like opens up a door, and it's like a kind of a larger room with like no feasible exit, and there is, you notice, a railing against the wall of this door. It's about like a 10-foot by 10-foot room, and there's railings all around it. And as Cal walks up into the center, a little terminal like rises out of the bottom of it, and he goes, "Are you all ready?"
Sure.
He presses a button on the terminal, and the floor starts moving up. The ceiling opens up, and you move into like kind of a shaft that keeps going. And then as you get near the top opens up, and you see treetops, and like a little bit of dirt and everything crumples down, and eventually the little shaft at the top opens, and you come up and you see that like there's like kind of there's like a thick patch of like actual earth that has been like carved, like it must get carved or is frequently carved in order to allow that door to open and separate the earth. And you are now sitting on a platform in the middle of a forest. And he looks around, and he's like, "Damn, I should have made it here by now." And he pulls out a radio, and he presses it, and he goes, Kenneth, it's Cal." And there's a moment, and then, "Yeah, Cal, what?" "The truck, Kenneth. We're waiting for the truck." There's a pause. He goes, "It must be out of gas or something. It won't run. It went about 2 feet and then it turned off." You do that. You do that, Roland, and so does Cal. And he goes, "Kenneth, it seems that the Dead Man's Gang has employed a kill switch sequence. If you do not figure out what the sequence is, it could be mundane moving of knobs or a certain number of presses on the gas. If you do not find out what that sequence is, the car will not run." And then Kenneth goes, well, how the hell am I supposed to figure that out?" And Kenneth sits there for a second, or Cal sits there for a second and goes, "Honestly, it'd be easier if I did it myself instead of explain it to him."
It's actually just this, and I tell him because Joe had me drive the car.
Yep. He goes, good. And he relays it. He goes, "All right, you need to press on the gas 3 times, turn the key partway through, and then put it in reverse, and then it will turn on." He goes, "Well, how the hell am I supposed to figure? How the hell did you figure that out?" And he goes, "It was not me. It was one of our companions. They are quite bright, you know." He goes, "All right, well, we're coming." He goes, "All right." Sorry about that.
It's fine. You know, I get it.
And a moment passes. I don't know if you guys want to talk to Cal at all. He just kind of stands there pleasantly, looking around.
You're pretty handy with a lot of stuff, Cal.
It's my job, sir.
You are full of surprises.
As are the 3 of you, clearly.
Is he wearing a torque or not?
He is. Yeah, he has a thin, ornate metal torque wraps around partway around his throat, ending at his Adam's apple. It's not like tight fitting. It looks quite comfortable. If you're saying something, you're muted.
I wasn't saying anything, but I was thinking about saying something. So I'll take a piece of paper out of my pack and just like write down one of my call signs.
Okay.
And I'll just be like, if you ever feel like chatting, you should reach out. I'd love to have a pen pal.
Absolutely. Here, and he produces a pen, and he writes on the piece of paper and tears it in half. And he goes, "And this is my call sign."
Thanks.
Look at that. That's maybe like the first time we've made a friend in like a month.
That's unfortunate to hear.
Yeah, Cal, it ain't great out here.
And there's brrr, brrr, and the truck weaves through some trees and pulls up to where you are. It seems like there is a path large enough for vehicles to pass through here. But the grounds must be kept well enough that there's not like just like regular tire treads coming in and out. But you do notice like quickly as you see the truck approaching, there is like the trees have been planted or grown in a way that allows vehicles to move through this forest. And two men climb out, and they step out. They go, all right, it's all yours. That thing's gas is touchy. It really goes. You wouldn't know looking at it, but it goes.
Yeah, we know.
Damn near almost ran through the well trying to get out of town square. I'm just saying, thing's touchy.
Yeah, we know.
And then they walk up, kind of waiting, and they help you load the cargo drone into the truck. You know, you're able to pull down like slats and drive the cargo drone up, so it's in the bed of the truck. You put up the slats, and they like wipe their hands clean. They're like, "All right, well, have fun with it, I guess." And Cal goes, "Perhaps I'll see you around sometime. Good luck on your future endeavors. I hope you find your way to some more friends."
Same, Cal. Same.
And like they join Cal on the platform. You guys presumably get in the car.
Yeah.
And as you do, you see Cal press the button on the terminal, and the little like square platform like starts moving its way down. And you watch as the Earth itself like moves on another platform to seal shut.
Yeah, I will drive us away for probably about like 10 minutes, and then pull over and like just fucking lose it, like swearing and like kicking the car and like just really goddamn pissed at how that turned out with Joe.
All right, old bean, take it easy, takes it easy.
No, Kinsey, you don't get it. All right? I had her. She could have lived. She didn't have to die. And I guessed wrong. And she's dead because I guessed wrong.
Well, if we need to put blame somewhere, she's truly dead because I took the initiative and shot at her partner. And that led us to the entire clusterfudge that happened and led us to this point. So, what does it matter if your action caused it or if my action caused it? The truth is, this is where we are. We've got to adjust our plan, and we knew we would.
It ain't. It's not. Kinsey. I could have saved her. And I didn't.
Better her than you.
Yeah, well, that's the world we live in, so. Somebody else should drive.
Yeah, I switch.
All right. You climb into the driver's seat. The three of you sit in the cab of the truck. You pump the gas a couple times, turn the key part way, put it in reverse, turn the key the rest of the way. Engine roars up. You grab the steering wheel for a second. You like take a moment, press on the gas, and you guys start driving out of the forest. And that's where we'll end the session. You guys didn't die. All right, cool. I know we have at least one question in the Kickstarter exclusive Discord. Also, if there's anyone in the chat who would like to submit a question, now would be the time. We like chatting with you guys and answering whatever questions you may have. It could be questions about what just happened. It could be questions about the game in general. It could be questions about any of the characters or the players. Feel free. Chime in the chat. Addie is monitoring it, I assume. But for now, we have the one question from the Discord. It comes from Mizako, and it says, due to the lack or degradation of high-tech solutions, had the people of Manifest figured out alternative means to make use of Old Lu? Old Lu being a slang term for luminescence. They actually still can use it a little bit. It's actually just like harder to find nowadays. They kind of really strip mine the planet for that first year. But when they find it, it can be used for a lot of different things. It's almost infinite in its uses. Though it sounds like you might be implying something illicit, which is amusing because there is an illicit use of luminescence, or rather, a byproduct of a failed experiment with luminescence. A long while back, people tried to synthesize luminescence. They took a small amount of luminescence and tried to synthesize and replicate it. And that was a bust. They couldn't do it. There was just no way for them to do it. But the substance they created during that turned out was an extremely powerful hallucinogenic and euphoric drug. And it's called Stardust. And that is still relatively on the market on Manifest, whether it's Stardust made from existing Stardust or Stardust made from pure luminescence. There is a sort of failed synthesized luminescence that is this kind of like glowing powder that when utilized will make you real high.
Shiny space drugs.
Yeah, it's kind of like sourdough starter. Where you like have to have some of it, or you have to have the luminescence, the like base,
grandma's Stardust starter that's been passed down for generations.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not many people know how to make it, but still out there.
And there hasn't yet been a character who's been able to make it. It's only available to purchase.
For like a mechanical reference, the highest class tonic you can create is a class 4 tonic. Stardust would be a class 5 or 6 tonic.
It's also used like medicinally, and it's used to create hard caliber weapons. As not the Stardust starter. I didn't segue into that very well.
Grandma's methamphetamine starter to make this extremely powerful gun.
No, but luminescence, the luminescence that is available can be used from anything from like creating just like raw energy, powering like a building or something like that, to creating hyper powerful like weaponry. And to creating a really good laundry machine. Like it literally, it's like you plug it into anything, and it's mostly better if it doesn't explode while you're making it.
Yeah. There was a moment, I think, during the podcast, during season 9 of the podcast, where they got their hands on some luminescence, and Sean's character created basically stun grenades by shaving off bits of luminescence into his device and like synthesizing it and like working on it to like change its properties so that it was basically this like energy combustion that stunned people, which is fun and cool. All right, cool. Do we have any other questions in the chat?
Nothing in the chat right now. So I think we're all good to sign off for tonight.
Well, to give the chat just a second longer and they want to send anything, does anyone else have any advancement triggers that they hit before we call an end to this session? We can see how much XP we got. What's the total XP we're looking at here?
Did I get away with doing a crime?
Short, yeah. You hung out with the family. You made a deal with the family. That's a crime.
Yeah, I did a crime. So
Yeah.
I hit all 4 triggers.
Okay.
How successfully was the trap utilized? Was it successful enough?
It was successful enough. It was utilized successfully at least 3 times. Or at least 2 times.
Well, and also just the ambush for the family, I guess is what
Yeah, no, I mean that's what I'm saying. The family showed up and they killed the madman. They helped kill Cho.
Cool, yeah.
I asked for and then drove off with this Omni tool.
Oh, see, so I assumed like Cal would have told you to put it back. I assumed you weren't trying to steal it.
Oh, okay. Well, they still gave it to me as soon as I asked, which is obtaining a thing with words.
Well, you also obtained a truck with words.
Two things.
Yes, that did happen. But you don't still have the Omni tool unless you tried to sneak it by Cal.
Nah.
Okay.
Can anybody make a justification for patients being rewarded?
I don't know that I can. Can anyone else?
I couldn't.
Nah, this whole session was like 18 minutes.
Yeah. And then I definitely didn't show anybody how to survive in the wild either, so.
You showed them what happens when they don't look for jumping yuckies.
Okay, actually, yeah. No, have you learned the terrors of jumping yuckies? Like he was told like there's gonna be jumping yuckies in this hallway. Look out for it. And then he underestimates. He's like, yeah, whatever, I got it. Yeah. So what? That's 4 from Pax, 3 from Kinsey, and then.
I don't think I talked to anybody out of conflict with me this whole time. Unless you count making Rosa run away as talking to someone out of conflict.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
She was literally about to shoot both of you.
Okay, cool. That's all 4 of mine.
Nice.
Sweet.
So that's 11.
Yeah. You guys level up?
Yeah, we should.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Sweet. All right. Cool. Last chance for questions.
No questions in the chat.
All right, cool. Then we are going to call the stream tonight. We are all done. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a little exciting and then a little sad and all around, I think, pretty cool.
So we will see you next week. Don't forget to follow and like us. Bye.
Bye.